Hi guys, just wait, let people join and then we'll start. Okay, so while people are joining, I can start with your doubts. Guys, those have any question, doubt to ask, go ahead and ask while people are joining. In the meanwhile, I'll open the folder we're working. No question, doubt. Okay. Then in that case, guys, you have to wait for at least 8:40 for people to join because obviously we have to give it a 10-minute as a rule. Then we'll start. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. So basically, what's the plan for today? Guys, the plan for today is we're gonna cover the Redux 2 application, which was there. Okay. Second thing which I'm gonna cover is basically I think we left with some part of our testing that will do that. Then after this, okay, after React, I'll cover the first of all Saga. We have to walk through. Then I do the testing. Okay, after that, the next thing which I'm gonna cover is first of all, I'm gonna talk about basically your Zest and say Nginx with Jenkins. Okay, then I'll cover that context API and the custom hooks. Okay, after that, if we get some time, then we'll cover that login logout application. Okay, so this is my plan, guys. नहीं पेमेंट गेटवे नहीं हुआ यार कल अभी पेमेंट गेटवे हमने किया ही नहीं देखते हैं आज क्या कर सकते हैं ना ये सब एडिशनल टॉपिक है भाई पहले मेन वाले कवर कर लूं देन विल सी व्हाट एक्स्ट्रा आई कैन कवर आई ट्राई टू कवर ठीक है आई कैन नॉट कमेंट बट आई विल सी व्हाटएवर आई विल ट्राई टू कवर आई विल ठीक है so first of all guys we go to redux 2 so yesterday we have done one thing that we have already taken the code there in terms of your UI design, correct? And then particularly with that UI design, so we have our data also. I'm not sure did we talk about this thing or not previously. One is called as JSON server. Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, how to create a say dummy API, right? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to use the same only JSON server to get the API. Let's just create that first. So we'll say CD desktop. Now, next thing we'll go to that API and then basically our so basically guys, we're able to come to this place. Now here I write a command call JSON-server minus watch db.json. I think it's there only. This location is correct. Yes. So db.json hyphen port. I can give any port number, guys. Okay, 9866. So guys, there are two APIs are there. One is basically your article API. One is called basically your gallery API. One article API, one gallery API. Now guys, basically two routes are there. From an article API, there were approximately 7-8 articles in that. What I'm going to do is I'll take first few articles on the first section, next few article on the next section, and then one section for the gallery. Here guys, we'll have a two reducers, one for the article and one for the gallery. Now, why exactly? I'll tell you. Basically, because how we decide the two reducers, basically, guys, that depend upon your, I'll say that how many APIs routes are there? Two different routes are there. One for article, one for gallery, right? So the same thing I'm going to do. Basically, I'm going to write the two reducer, one for article, one for gallery. Can we do everything in a one reducer? Yes, you can you can do everything in a one reducer also, but it's good to have a two separate reducer, guys. Basically, that's how you can manage the code more better. Else, in no such problem, you can do that in the same reducer also, guys. Okay. So let's go back, and now in the SRC, in the action file, we got a first action. So, guys, see, it make a code speed faster in terms of once my structure is ready. Okay. Once my structure is ready, then guys, I can start using it everywhere. The only thing is I have to make my structure ready. So here, guys, it's a const base URL is localhost localhost 9866, right? So this is my base URL, and all the APIs will revolve around this only. Now, particularly here we'll say export function. Export function latest news. And basically we'll do here with a const output equal to. We'll make a fetch $2 base URL. Base URL slash articles question mark underscore and equal to 3. This indicate I am picking up the first 3 articles from there. Okay. Anyways, the method is get. And we don't return data here, guys. Then we'll have the data. The data will resolve later on. As of now, will the data.json. The resolve part will taken care by store. Whenever needed, the store will resolve it. In return, basically, return 2 things. One is called type, say latest news, and the payload. Move ring closed. So basically, like in a payload, basically, we'll have this data. We have data. So this is what, guys, is some action return. Action return 2 things. One is type, and one is basically, guys, your payload. Now, next thing, let's go to your, I'll say reducer. Now, as guys, we have a 3 reducer file. One is main reducer, that's by default there. Then we have one more reducer called article reducer. So we'll say first article reducer. .js. Now in the main reducer, guys, first of all, we're going to import combine reducer. Neha, ma'am, I waited for you yesterday, but you left the class early. Neha Jain.
Yeah, hi Akash. Actually, I was having some internet issue, Akash. Joined multiple times yesterday.
Ma'am, I
I got
waited
disconnected and joined again, and then yeah, that same thing going on.
in that break time only. Ma'am, let's discuss about that.
Yeah, sure, sure, Akash.
Because the point is like that, I have to fill that sheet. Because you are the only one, ma'am, who have one feedback apart from whole batch. So I have to fill that sheet in front of your name. What was the reason? Okay. Okay. Now here guys, first of all, we're going to import article from /article reducer. Then we say const root reducer is equal to combine reducers. We have basically here article. Okay. And then we'll say guys, export default root reducer. So basically guys, as we have article here, so here in terms of we have the root reducer there. Now your reducer ready. This is your main reducer. Now let's go to article reducer guys. What we do there? This time guys, in this we are calling the API. Okay. So we did export default function in which state, which is blank, and basically action there. Okay. We read a switch case. In that switch case, we'll say take action type. And we read a case here. In the case, we write here latest news because that's a one case which I have right now, latest news. Oh, it should be output, not data. So case is latest news.
Hi, Akash. Sorry to disturb you. Do you want to discuss anything with me? Because once you complete this example, right, I will get this. I have something to prepare from.
Sorry, come again.
Do you want to discuss anything with me regarding the feedback that I have given long back?
That was long back now, but that's fine because that's only one time. That's fine. Might be you have mentioned that reason also there, right? So that makes sense.
Okay, thank you. Because okay, thank you.
So basically, your was very long back, but Neha was twice. That's what I've discussed. Okay. So basically, guys, here we done the state and basically we have the latest news. Okay. Now here, guys, why we said dot state? Because when we call the API, it is possible, guys, the data will changing. So I have to append this old data with the new data. So I have to say this is dot state. And the latest news will say action dot payload. So it will keep adding that old data with the new data. Else in a default will return state like this. So here it in the terms of basically will say that we are as of now having only one state, that is your case called latest news, and that's what basically we are returning from here. Okay. So we have reducer guys here, action ready. Now let's go to your store. In this scenario, guys, basically store is a one that is going to resolve the API. Okay. This time with the store, guys, we have to resolve the API also. As we have to resolve the API with the store, so you require one thing that is called, guys, promise middleware. Well, say create store, and one is called apply middleware. Why the middleware? Because middleware is a supporting library which support your Redux to resolve that data. Okay. Apply middleware, and one is called the middleware name is promise middleware. There's a most used middleware and the easy middleware to use, guys. That's coming from Redux promise. Then we'll import a reducer here, as this is a place where the reducer has to get connected. Coming from /reducer / article reducer. Oh, sorry, main reducer. We'll say let store is equal to create store. In this, we pass the reducer and basically apply middleware. In this middleware, the middleware name is promise middleware. These are one, guys, which help to resolve the APIs whenever we require. And finally, we'll say export default store. Okay. Same thing, guys, only extra few things are here now. This is in the your reducer, few things are extra. So our store is ready. Now the index will be same. So we can pick the same index also. In the index, there's no such change we require. So we go back and pick that index from previous code. So we have provider, we have a store have a store file, we have a container have the home. There's nothing new in this, so it's fine. Now, guys, the main thing is let's go back to component, and that's the container. That's also, guys, one thing that you are already aware of. There's nothing new in that. The only thing that change already be done. Now, to almost same what we did yesterday only. I'm still writing, guys, only for a reason because yes, it is a little difficult. Although again, this is not a part of a course to complete this part. But I always feel to one thing extra. So that it's a little difficult topic. That's only my point. Okay. Connect from React Redux. Then we import that action. That action name is latest news. / actions and action files. So extend component. Export default connect. Here, guys, first of all, we have one function that is map state to props. That is a first argument. And the component name is a second argument. Here we are going to receive a state. I'll show you guys when we receive from a two different reducer. Now you can easily identify that. Okay. In the return, as of now, I'll say data list. That's coming from state.article because I'm making one reducer as of now. That's called state.article. Here, guys, again, call action. Okay. This dot props dot dispatch. Action name is latest news. And finally, guys, I already have a display part with me. Okay, in the routing, we have some stuff which is not there. So we have to put something in routing only. Although, guys, I don't have much, I don't have any page to navigate. Then why I keep a routing here? Just for your understanding. So you don't feel like, okay, how are we going to navigate in this page? There's no such different thing, guys, for navigation in this page. Okay. It's going to be same like old, but I think I have done one mistake in the routing that I installed that routing 6. Now routing 6 will not support this. Reason, routing 6 does not support the class components. So it does not support this. So I have to first of all uninstall the routing 6 and install routing 5. So guys, this thing also indicate that the latest version stops supporting the class components, right? So that's the reason, guys, Redux sometime is not something going to be coming in your latest project. That's what it's. Okay. So Redux 2 npm uninstall. So guys, with 5.3.0, then basically you're able to install this package. Now start again. Now start this. So we can refer that same routing, guys, from the previous part. That is your routing 5. I'll go. Routing 5. Yeah. We'll refer the same routing file. So why I did it yesterday just to show that what exactly you're doing here. There's nothing gonna be new, guys, in this routing 5. Okay, routing 5. It's gonna be simple routing. Only thing is I don't have any page to jump between. So I have just a default route that is home. No extra thing required. Anyways, I don't even need this container. So on the top header, at the bottom footer, no such thing to import. Header footer in the same place, but the from home we have to import the. So basically from a container we have to refer the home. Okay. So the basic structure of routing is nothing new in this. Now we have a home ready. We have a routing ready. We have a header footer already there with us. We have the display also ready. Very simple display, guys. We'll start with the article display or latest display, we can say. Is nothing in this is a very simple display component, which is basically doing simple part that is iterating over a data. So we're not doing anything extra in this, guys. Very simple component, which is just help you to iterate over a data. You're getting a data, iterating over it. That's it. This is something we're doing from very long. I have done many times, right? So here in the home, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import now this latest display. Or I say latest. Dot slash component slash home slash latest news. We have render. Render I have written. One div. And we select this way. So we'll pass a data by name of property by name of L data. And we have to select this way, guys. This dot props dot. This will be a property name now. Data list dot. Now what is coming from reducer? Go back and check. It is coming by name of latest news. So data list dot latest news like this. Now, if you go back and check your browser, we'll see. Okay, let's just try to console the state. I just want to check that I'm something which is what exactly got missed. Console.log will say state. Are we getting it or not? Yes, state is coming. We're getting. Let's refresh one. No, there's something got missed because first time it's just loading the empty state. This dot props dot dispatch component unent. Spelling look fine. Did mount. Latest news. Here we'll say map state to props and the home. We're calling the latest news L data. This look fine to me. Okay, let's go to action once. $9986. Okay. That look fine. Latest news in a payload. We'll say output. This also look fine. Oh, there's a mistake. See, typo. Okay, now at least you're getting some different error. That makes fine. It's a you should use a link outside the router. Okay, somewhere I'm using a link in a wrong place. Okay, now you can now just check one thing in a routing. You are specifying that path slash component home. This look good. Header footer home. That's look good. And in the home, we're calling the component home latest display. Just restart once. We'll see. There's something that is there. It's somewhere saying me that you should not use a link outside the router. Okay. Oh, okay. Look to me like these two components are creating a problem. So one thing we'll do. For a time being, I'll just cut these files and I'll paste it later on. Okay. For a time being, we'll delete this gallery and the article and gallery. This can be another problem. It's trying to load that file which don't have any link as of now. Okay, just as a test, we'll test it. Okay, no. So that is fine. So we can bring that file back. What exactly got stuck? In the state now we are able to get that. Yes. So this is fine. At least till this point, it's coming perfectly fine now. Something else idly in the routing. We have a browser router. And the route, we give the exact path / component home. This look fine. Container and the home header footer look fine. Header have nothing, footer have nothing. ठीक है, ये सब सही लग रहा है. This is तो no problem. Action is no problem. Only latest display have a problem. Somewhere is saying that link I'm using now. Okay, let's just not use a link. I don't require a link also, although. So I'll just put this as a div. Okay. Now we'll see. Is it fine or not? Yes. Fine. So now guys, you are able to get the first thing here guys as a latest news. Now let's have a flow once again. From home, you are calling action. Action is running a type and a payload that go to reducer. Reducer pass it to store to the view index, and the view will receive the data here. And now we pass this as a property, and as a property we are passing to prop, and through this prop we are able to display this data on the screen. Anyone? Any question till this point? Anyone not clear till this point? Clear? Now guys, things become very easy. Once one structure is ready now, it become easy. Suppose now I want next part, say article news. Guys, very less amount of code you will write now. How? You want a latest news? Done article news. So first just add one action. That's called article news. Here we'll say start with 3, end with 10. Latest news, we'll say article news. Okay. This is very simple. That's done. Simply add one switch case in the reducer. So here we'll call by name of article news. That's done. Only one case have to be added. No change required guys, only application. And now you want to display it, just call this action and you are done as well. So action name is article news. This dot props dot dispatch article news. That's it. You're done. Now, if I show the state guys in a console, You will receive now two state values. See. Now, in an article news and the latest news. See. Now, basically, just import article news from home / article and just pass it. Now this dots props dot details dot latest news. You're done. And guys, you are done with the article news also. And there also, I think, is a link that's gives us an issue. Just make this as a link. And you're done. Guys, see now the two section will be ready. See. That's what it is. So you're able to basically display two sections of the page in. So first section took us around 20 minutes. Next section just took us around not even more than 5 minutes. And same with third section also work. Now I'll show the last section also of this page. See. Now, here we'll say gallery news. So here the route is / galleries. / galleries. First I show the output, guys, then I'll explain you that also. Okay, the one thing called slider there that I'll also explain you as a limit to. Okay. Say gallery news. Now, ready? Now, guys, I'll make a second reducer for that. Any specific reason? No specific reason. But how we divide? We divide on the basis of basically routes. We have 2 routes, we make a 2 reducer. We have 3 routes, a 3 reducer. So it's not compulsory, guys, but ideally that's how people follow the structure. Okay. Now here I'll do one thing. So what the name of that? Gallery news. And now here we'll say gallery news. Okay. Now import gallery from / gallery reducer and declare it. You are done. So like the number of reducer create, number of time you import. And then guys, see the store, the reducer, you not touch these things in this basically. Now a new action, just go to home. This dot props dot like this. Now I'll show one thing, guys. Now when you check a state, see your state coming in 2 different parts. One article, one gallery. In article, we have 2 things: latest news, article news. In a gallery, one thing, gallery news. This is how it is. And now import gallery news from this dot props dot. Now we'll get separate name here, guys. Data list. We'll say gal list. We'll say state dot gallery. Gal list dot gallery news. And now you are ready. If you go back and check the browser, see, we got this gallery. Now, guys, how we make a gallery? I'll tell you. An npm package basically call as a gal list, call React Slick. It import a slider here. In the slider, they give setting like this way. This setting we have to pass. Okay, this indicate that you want dot, you want infinite scroll. So all those things you have to specify here. And then after that, you iterate over it, and basically inside gallery, you just have to iterate this divs. If anything is there, guys. So in slider, we have to iterate this div, and then that's how your slider will start coming, and that's how you are done. So this is the same flow, but this time I showed you with the help of API also, guys. Anyone? Any question? Any doubt in this? And that's how your things are ready. Again, I'm repeating, guys, not difficult, just the structure is there. There are multiple files involved. We don't have a habit of writing. See, if you will jump to Angular after this, if anybody know Angular or are planning to go to Angular, guys, there we have so many files. Means here still a component is very easy, but there it becomes very tricky to make even a simple component as well, because there it is little more difficult to make it. So point is simple, like it's just a structure, guys. You have to understand. That's it. Okay. Any question, doubt? Sir, website पर कहाँ use होता है? Any website, Rahul. You can use this in any website. So it's absolutely fine. Means anywhere you can use it. Wherever you want to have bigger application structure, you can make with this also, without this also. Both options are available. Okay. Yes, Neha?
Yeah. Hi, Akash. So first thing is like, I mean, for our normal components, we are predefining these states, right? I mean, we are showing that these are the properties belongs to state.
Correct.
But here in reducer or anywhere, are we defining that state will have this image gallery list or other list?
Specify in the reducer of cases on the basis of the case, whichever action you're calling, that's what you're receiving it here. This is a state now for you.
Okay.
Just you're getting article news, latest news, gallery. Because you're calling a 3 actions. That's why in this component I'm able to receive all the data from all the reducers like that.
And is there any limitation, like if we are keeping, I mean, all this? No limitation. Okay.
Okay. Look like no more question. Okay. Now, guys, there's one more level, high level of complexity here. Okay. There's one more next level of complexity with that. That is called Saga. Okay. You might have heard this word Saga. And guys, I'll tell you, likewise, the thousands of things in the market. Yeah, it's keep coming, keep going, keep coming, keep going. Now, point is like that, guys. Redux was a complex part. Correct. To make it more complex, just for the sake of making it more better performance, people don't accept it that. But yes, there is one more option available called Saga. Now, what does Saga say? Saga say your application can work a little more faster, but you have to add a more complexity to that. What? That's called Saga Stories. Okay, we call it Saga Stories. Right now, with a middleware called Promise middleware that's able to resolve my promise very easily, able to give me the data very easily. But when it comes to a Saga, so what we have to do in a Saga, I'll just give a walkthrough of that. We're not running a code, we're not writing a code, just give a walkthrough of that. Saga can only be used in Redux, guys. If using a Redux, use a Saga. Apart from Saga, we have option called Thunk also there. And many more middlewares are there. Okay. So basically, guys, what we are doing is now one extra folder require called Saga. What they say in the action, you just have that type. No more API calling with inside the action. Now all the API calling will happen inside your Saga, we call Saga story. Basically, now the API call will happen here. From here, it will pass the data to action, then action to reducer, then reducer to store. Now, what is the benefit here? What is there? You notice one thing, guys, one thing called star. Rather than return, we have yield. Okay, the difference is that two things. You have a star and yield. If you get some time, read about one thing called generator functions. These functions in JavaScript are called as generator function. They don't return, they yield. If anybody come from Python background, you must know one option available called yield in a Python also, one we call first class functions. So basically what happened, guys, here we don't return, we yield here. So what the benefit of yield? Yield is basically doing in terms of, or generator function is that. Here, whenever the API calling happen, it always try to do one thing on its own side. You see one thing called take latest? Guys, it own side, it compare the previous data with the new data. When they call any API, it try to compare the previous data with the new data and only pass the new data to reducer to append inside the store. So the things become faster is that in terms of they make the reducer work little lighter to compare the data. Now reducer work is to update the store, but the work of getting a latest data is now taken care by the Saga. Okay. Yes, it can improve our performance a little bit some extent, but yes, it had a more complexity to the application that now you have to return using this Saga stories, not with the help of the action. So the only change that came is now the action will have only type, but your Saga will have the API calling. I'll put this code with you. If you get chance, do that. Else do not waste the time on this. Not useful nowadays. But obviously, as a part of a curriculum, some people are, as I always say, some people are only join this course because after watching a curriculum only, right? They're very particular. Sir, you have not done this. Sir, you have not done this. But we are in a market, we know, guys, what's going on, what's not going on. So this is something, do not waste your time on this. My recommendation is that. If you really require a company, the story is different, but else try to not waste time on this. It's not useful nowadays. But the only thing is, yes, they follow two things, generator functions and yield. It try to give always the latest data rather than the old data, but you have to call in same way only, guys. Okay. Fine. So let's go to, guys, what more important thing than this, that is your. Yes, Akash, go ahead, please.
Sir, so the Redux part which we have done, is it only known as Redux Toolkit also, or it is different?
I'm not sure, sir, where you are reading it. Depend upon which article you're reading, then you have to read it more properly, buddy. My recommendation is that. I'm not sure what you're trying to read, from where you're trying to read.
No, sir.
What you're calling a toolkit, that you have to read in more detail, by. First, check that. Might be there some tool is available which calling them toolkit. Might be they are calling this as a toolkit, so I cannot comment, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so means we are not sure that it
Sir, I'm not sure, because we are not sure. I'm not sure which article you are reading. For which context you're asking, that's I'm not sure.
Sir. No, sir, just asking about Redux Toolkit is the same which we have done right now,
Yeah,
or it
correct.
is different?
For according to here, it's correct, same. But
Okay.
which article you're reading, buddy, might be what they're referring to, that can be vary.
Okay, so it is the same one. Redux Toolkit is.
Sir, if you ask me question by asking a 3 different way, my answer will be same, Akash.
Okay, fine, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now, guys, a little more thing. Let's talk about, first of all, testing. Then I have talked about the hooks part also. Okay. And okay. Now, testing is something in terms of, guys, we say it's good to know testing always, guys. So what the test case is all about making sure your code is working fine or not. Okay. Now, for the test case to pass, see, the one thing is very simple. It is compulsory that the test case should pass. Suppose a test case is not passing, either test case is wrong or either code is wrong. You have to see that what exactly is wrong. One thing is very simple, guys. You have to make sure that every test case should pass. There's no other option available to you. Test case is just a replica of a code you're writing, is making sure a code is working or not working. Test case is second priority in terms of that if you know testing, it's good. If you don't know testing, that's also fine. But if you don't know development, then no use of testing. Remember one thing, guys, a person who's a developer, they can be tested easily because they have written the code, they know how to test it. But as a tester, just writing a code is difficult. So point is like that, guys. Again, more focus. See, after this point, I told you guys, more focus will be on above things, not on below things. So again, the more focus should be on development rather than testing. We are going to cover one thing called snapshot testing in the React. Why snapshot testing? Guys, snapshot testing is the one that gives us the 100% code coverage. Okay. Yes, there can be multiple different way of writing a test you can have, but what as a part of a course we're covering is snapshot testing. In a snapshot testing, it is give us the option to give the 100% code coverage. Okay. What this, see how we test the data is coming or not. That's the API testing that is taken care in Node.js, that the API data is coming or not coming, right? Apart from that, here in this case, we are going to cover in terms of that your snapshots are getting passed or not getting passed. How we create that? First of all, here what packages we require. The packages that we require is called Zest and Enzyme. Zest is by default installed in an application. You don't have to install that separately. But I need to install two more packages. One is called as, guys, React Test Renderer. And second thing is your Enzyme. Okay. So I'll go here, npm I React Test Renderer and Enzyme. Okay. These two packages I'll install first. So we can close this Redux application now. And guys, for testing now, you no need to run the application. Okay. So we are anyways mocking our components. So no need to run the application also. So here, guys, one thing we have to do is we have to make a folder called __test__. Is it compulsory to give a name like this? No such compulsory like that. Then what is compulsory? The compulsory is your file name should end with a test. That is, I'll say footer.snapshot.test.js. The best kind of testing that you can do for a React because the UI. So here we'll be able to compare everything. My component coming fine or not. If we pass a data, will it load or not? If we don't pass a data, is still working or not? So everything getting covered in this one kind of test. So here, guys, when talk about the snapshot testing of a footer, make sure, guys, the file name should end with .test.js, else it will not run. Okay. Now, first of all, here I'm going to import React from React. Then we'll import what component you want to test. Footer. I'll say footer from /footer. And guys, for a React for end-to-end testing, use a Selenium or other tools are also available. Up to you that what you prefer. But I think that will not come under your bucket. If you're a pure developer in a company, then these things will never. So guys, in my career also, I never faced anything told me to write a Selenium code. That's not my job. My job is a developer. So I can do this testing, unit testing or snapshot testing, but not my job to the Selenium code. So that will not come under my bucket anyways. Okay. So here, guys, I'm going to import one thing called create from React Test Renderer. Okay. Every test case start with a keyword called describe. Every test case start with a keyword called describe. In this, basically, tell what you're trying to test. I'll say snapshot test. Okay. Then you run callback function. This is basically a callback function, means a function that gets invoked automatically. Here we start with keyword called test. Now in one describe, I can have multiple test like that. I can have multiple describe multiple files, but in one describe, we can have multiple test also. So here I write testing footer. Okay. Now we'll say let tree is equal to create footer. Now what it's trying to do, guys? It's trying to replicate that footer in a JSON file with which it will compare. It's a expect. What is the expectation? The expectation is that the tree.toJSON. Now to match snapshot. This is called assertion. This is called assertion. We are asserting here that it should match the snap. You see, match must be called to be assert. Okay. So with a snapshot to match snapshot. Now what it do? First, it will create the snapshot for your component. After that, it compare your component with a snapshot. If it match, your test case pass, else test case fail. Okay. I'll run this test case. How to run, guys? Right? npm run test. When at npm run test, it will automatically create the snapshot. Where it create a snapshot, guys, it will basically make one folder called snapshot folder, in which it make a snapshot file there through which it will compare. Array. Shit. I have actually closed the wrong command prompt. My bad. Sorry, no problem. You can npm run test. Now it have only one test case. Okay, it have only one test case and one test case fail. Why I say it's a to match snapshot is not basically a function. Basically, here a spelling mistake is there. Snapshot. This is small s. Now see, guys, the first test case pass. What it did? It is created one JSON for your footer. Okay, now let's go do one thing. Let's go to footer. I'll say developer funnel. I'll say developer funnels. Now what happened, guys? The test case fail. Why fail? It's the expected code is developer funnel. You are giving developer funnels. Now, this is what you have to check. Is the code is wrong or the snapshot is wrong? Means you think like, no, the code is wrong because the expectation is developer funnel. Okay. So we are sending a developer funnels. I'll say, no, code is correct. It should be developer funnels only, not the funnel. It means snapshot is wrong. Guys, in case the snapshot is wrong, you have to update that snapshot. If your code is wrong, you have to correct the code. If suppose in case, guys, my code is wrong, then that case, I have to go and fix my code. When I fix a code, the test case will basically pass. Now, whereas, guys, on the other side, if I talk about that the code is supposed correct, it means test case is wrong. So then update the test case. How? Go back to package JSON. Write a test colon update. We'll say React script test hyphen update snapshot. Now, how we run this command, guys? npm run test colon update. Testing is different debugging. Debugging we have covered the breakpoint, buddy. Debugging is a breakpoint. You just put a breakpoint, testing that, are getting a data, not getting it. That's come under debugging. This is called testing. Testing means your code is working fine or not. Debugging means where is the error you want to figure out. Is it clear, Jody? So testing and debugging are different thing. Now, guys, my snapshot pass and the test case will pass. So this is a one example. Let me show one more example that give more clarity to you guys. Now the requirement is that, guys, I want to test a product display. Now product display want a data also. I want to make sure my code will only run when it have a data. Okay. Suppose data is coming from API. If the data is not coming, that code will break. Correct. So I have to make sure my code is working fine and it only works fine when you pass the data. First of all, we'll try to test the code, guys, without passing any data. Okay, we'll see how it behaves. If the test case pass in the case when I'm not passing a data, still the test case pass, it means something wrong in a code, that it's even working without a data. Okay, let's see how we do that. We'll say In a snapshot folder, we don't do anything, guys. We make a file outside. We'll say product dot snapshot dot test dot js. We'll import React from React. We'll import product from dot slash product display. Then import create from React test render. Now I'm gonna pass in data, guys. Okay, we start a keyword called describe. We'll say snapshot test. My test case name is making sure the component testing component should not run without data. Okay. Now we'll say let tree is equal to create. I'm just creating up for product. Okay. I'm not passing in data there as of now. And now I'll say, what is the expectation? The expectation is that 3.2 JSON to match snapshot. Okay. Let's try. See, guys, this case fail. We want it to be fail because you're not passing in data. Why it fail? It's a testing component should without data. Now it is giving me that cannot read data of undefined. The test case has given me indication that ideally you're not passing a data. Suppose in real time you're doing a testing, we are waiting for a response of API. API response is not coming. Test case will fail. This indicates that somehow the API response is not coming. That's why I said that, guys. Snapshot testing is the one that cover everything and give you a end-to-end testing. But apart from that, you want to see on that, okay, on a button click, this is happening or not. Although you can test a state change also, if you read some more, you can do that. But apart from that, guys, those kind of testing, we prefer do from Selenium because very easy to do from here. Now, how to resolve this issue? Now to resolve this issue, I have to pass a data. So where I get a data, I'll do one thing. I'll basically take a 2 records from here, okay, as example. And I will put those 2 records like this to where data. And now the major point is that, guys, we have to pass by the same property name. If not passing the same property name, then also it will break. So the property name is prod data. How I know? Because, guys, obviously we have written this code, so we know what to pass. That's what I'm talking about. As a developer, you know that if you're passing a property and the property name is prod data. See, because you're a developer, you have done this coding, so you know how you are doing it. And now in this prod data, I'll pass this data. So now what happened? The test case will pass. So why test case will pass? Because you're getting a data, it able to console that also, and test case pass. And if you want to do a code coverage or anybody from a actual IT world who are already working in real time, we have one thing called SonarQube, or we have one tool called Husky. See, as I mentioned, guys, the unlimited coding. You can do more and more and more. The one thing called Husky. What did Husky do? With the help of Husky, we can cover the code coverage. We can find out that how much is my code coverage, how much code is getting tested. So everything, guys, I can do. As I mentioned, guys, this is up to you. We can give you some starting point. We can tell you, okay, how exactly it's working. We can show some example, but at the end of the day, it's you, how much you are putting effort and how much you are trying to get more things done from there. It's unlimited. And not for you, for me also, guys, React is not over here. React is not ending today, guys. For me also, it's continuous learning. For you also, it's continuous learning. Anyone, any question, any doubt till this point? Then I'll show one more important topic. That is the hooks, custom hooks, context APIs that I'll cover next. Okay. Now, there is a two popular term, guys, in the market again. In the hooks only, we have one thing called as, guys, context API. Okay. Now, what that context API is, I'll tell you. In an interview, now, guys, might be possible. Okay, I have to give interview question also, guys. Just remind me today. Huh? I have to give that interview questions also today. Okay, just make sure, guys, remind me about interview question. Remind me about to show that jobs also, how exactly you guys can apply for a job. And on the other side, if anybody want to share a resume, they can also do that. To my team, I can give you a resume. That's what I can do. Nah? So now basically, guys, one interview question called prop drilling. Okay. They ask you the prop drilling. Guys, basically prop drilling is nothing. Prop drilling is basically passing the data from a parent to inner child to most inner child. Okay. Passing the data to inner child and then from there to the most inner child. That's called prop drilling. Means they're passing into multiple levels of the data. That's what come under the prop drilling, guys. Now, when we say prop drilling, so basically, guys, as example, let's show about a first app here. Now see. Here what happened? I can pass the data from header to app, or from app to header. That's one thing. Or I can pass the data from, suppose I want to pass it to footer. From header, I want to pass it to footer. I cannot do that. How I can achieve it? To achieve this, guys, basically what I have to do. First, from header, I'll pass to app, and then app will pass to footer. Even though they come under that same place, I can still not do that. So for achieving that particular thing, guys, there is one thing called context API. It's come under the concept of a hooks. What it trying to do, guys? It say that you can pass the data in the known nested components also. Here the concept of one thing called as consumer and the producer. The concept of consumer and the producer. With the help of consumer and the producer, I can share the data between the known nested components. Okay. Let's understand how. I'll make one file, say context. And after this, guys, we'll take a break. After a break, I will show you one thing called as custom hooks. After custom hooks, I will show you Nginx and Jenkins. And then after that, payment gateway. So this is what the requirement. So, and then the interview questions and all. So here, guys, first of all, we import React and component from React. Then we'll say const, anything, any name you can give to context. I'll give a context name as my context. Okay. Context name is my context. And here I'll say react.create context, a method inside the React called create context. Okay. Now, guys, I have multiple components. Just take an example. I have multiple components. Now, how that work? In a one file, I'll show you by writing a multiple component because I'm not going to export anything from there. So I will make one component by the name of, you can make a separate file also, guys. You can try this today. I'll write a one same file. You can make a separate file. I'll say class my provider extends component. Okay. I have one state here. In the state, I'll write city, and the city name is London. Okay. We have a render here. In the render, basically, I have a return. In the return, I'll say my context dot producer dot, sorry, provider, not producer. My context dot provider. Now, guys, this is kind of become a provider who will going to pass the data to any component. Now, how? So basically what we'll do here, we'll say this dot props dot children. Any child who will take this as a parent, any child who will take my provider as a parent, they can access the data. What it means, we'll see that. So this dot props dot children. Okay. Here, guys, in this we say value. What value you want to pass? The value which I want to pass will be state by the name of this dot state. State by the name of this dot state. Okay, I have one component by the name of my provider. Okay, who is ultimately going to pass some data. Now I'll make one consumer, guys. I'll say class city is my consumer name, consumer component who will consume this data. Now they're not nested component, they're not inside one another. They're two separate components. We have a render I've written. We have a div whose class name is city. You can get a name to that. Now I'll say my context dot consumer. Okay. Now this is a consumer. Okay. Now what they will receive, guys, as a consumer, by default, you will receive the context. Context means value. Which value? Which producer will pass? Context. And from the context, I'll just print one p tag. I'll say hi to context dot state dot city. Context dot state dot city. Now context is basically, guys, you're passing, what are passing? Value. By what name? State. I read ABC, then I'll say context dot ABC like this. And why city? Because from the producer, you're having a city. Now, how they are going to communicate with each other, guys? Okay, and one more thing I'll do. I'll make one more component, say city 1. Okay. I'll make one more component, say city 1. And the two consumers are there, guys. Eh? So they're not nested anywhere as of now. Now, what I'll do. So this is one city. This is a provider. Okay. Now I have one more component, say const country, which having a props, anything, no, even not a prop, that's fine. Now what happened, guys, here? Return. Now country have a nested component called city. Okay. Country have a nested component called city. Now see, country have nested city. Okay. Inside the country, city is nested. Now, how the context will work here? We'll say class context component. Any name you can give again. Context component. Now, main point to see here, guys. Extends component. Okay. Class context component, extend component. It will have a render. Render will have a return. And guys, the replacement of a Redux. You know one thing, this is a concept replacement of Redux. What the Redux do? It make the state available everywhere. So now context make a state available everywhere. How? Now I have one component called my provider, which is a provider there, correct? In my provider, I have a country. Country is the direct child of my provider. And inside country, we have city. Inside country, we have city. Okay, let's now do one thing. Just export default only one component, that is your context component. Okay. Now just call it anywhere. Here are important to display you guys. From /context. And basically here now I'll just call this context. Now notice what happened. Let's run it. City hooks. Start. No need guys explain once again only. Just wait, let get run. What was that website? That is basically made by my students. See, guys, that was to I'll have unlimited website to show you. They're all made by people just like you. But there are different, I told you initially also, no? They're different people. They are actually, in terms of they learn everything from us. And that's how they're able to make every application. You take a name, I'll choose a clone of that. आप नाम बताओ मैं उसका क्लोन दिखाऊंगा आपको. Flipkart, Amazon, Netflix, YouTube, कुछ भी. For everything we have application. ठीक है. First, let's see what is coming there. Look like something got break. Can you trade proper and define city? First of all, now I'll do one thing. I'll just comment this piece because I have to show something different there. What went wrong? And the consumer basically they're not able to get it. So we'll say context hi context dot state dot. Oh, I just to show you that ABC na, that's why. Arey yaar. Okay, fine. Okay, the comments start running. Now we want to see that output. We'll just see if my output is not printed. Okay, so the high is coming. That means it's fine. Now we just have to print high to. So we'll say my context. That's fine. Dot consumer spelling. No, mostly guys, sometimes spelling mistakes are there. Which block us now? Bracket, curly bracket, context, arrow, and this. Although this is fine. Look to me fine. Okay, here I can do one thing. We just try it. Although don't let me console here. But ये यहाँ console करने देगा नहीं हमें. But I just say hi to. Okay, let's see what it print. Will it print or not? It's not able to print that data only. The code start working, but not able to print that data. So just making sure I'm not missing any spelling mistake should not be there. Now basically what happened guys, this content will start printing on a screen. We'll say hi to context dot state. My context dot provider will have value and state colon this dot state. That look good. This is a provide. This is a props dot children. So props anyways coming, that's fine. These are props dot children, and here we'll say render return div city my context dot consumer. We have a context behind, and then we'll say country. We have props return div class name country. This is city. This also look fine. Finally, we'll say in the my provider I don't need this div although, but still it's fine to put it. Have a div and then we'll do like this. Okay, so want to see why it's not able to print that part. Okay, for a while I'll do one thing. If I just try to print a context, don't let me print that. Console log context, because context is only available inside. The point is like that, we cannot console here. You can add a console here also, but you can add a console there. And this context is not directly available. So, and context is not any keyword also. I had data, that's also fine. But I'll try one more thing. Data.state.city. ठीक है, इसको एक और try करते हैं. Here at a return statement, although that's not required. One second. But it's not required actually, but still we'll see. Sometimes guys, I'm not sure which version. Yeah. That was missing. Might be this version we want a return. The one I was using don't want return. Okay. Now see the data is coming. By putting a return, it's coming. Hi to London. Now understand what the concept is this. The concept is that guys, city is the part of the country. There's no connection between city and my provider. You see? City and my provider are not connected anywhere, but city is a part of a country. And country have the context from my provider. Country is accessing the my provider. As a country is a child of a my provider. So anything which is not a country, they can access it. That means suppose a 4 component, they're not interacting with each other. But if we write anywhere my provider, if anywhere I import this my provider component, okay, in that particular place, I can access this data. Suppose a 10 component, in one 2 component, I want this data. So I'll just say my provider, and then my provider, I am able to access this context. Suppose a second component, now this also want data. Second component also want data, guys. Now when a second component want a data, at that time, I'll just put it here, suppose, okay. Now second, city 1 also don't have any connection with this, but second component will also able to get this data. The point is like that, guys. Now any component with the help of this provider and the consumer, they can access data between any place without nesting. So that's what you make one. What does store do? See, it's coming. What does store do? Store make a global place where they save a state. Now, if any state got updated on my provider, that can be accessible anywhere by the name of consumer. So this is a context API that basically I can share the state anywhere in my application if I'm saving that in a context. And context is not a keyword. You can write any name there, but consumer and the provider is a keyword, guys. So this is a concept which say you can pass a data to a non-nested or even a child of child component. So both are possible, guys. Now go ahead with a doubt if anyone have any question in this. After this, anyways, we're going for a break. Yes, Akash, go ahead, please.
So this app context which we have seen right now, the same concept can be used in the React Native also, right, in app development?
Mostly yes. I have not tried it, buddy, but mostly yes, it should be.
Okay.
Although whatever in a React is available, that can be used in the React Native, except the component, right? Except that tag name.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this
yeah.
there's no any reason I see because of which not be accessible. It should be accessible.
Okay, fine, sir.
Any more questions? Guys, again, I'm saying one thing: do not run behind these topics. Yes, some people do, but I never do that and I never recommend that. Do not run behind the topic. Arey, topic to kya yaar? You guys will do it. If you know the basic React, na, this will keep coming. Today the course end. After 2 months, a lot of new thing will come. What you will do? You'll come back to me? No. But if your basic is strong, you never struggle. As simple as that. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's take a break. After a break, I have to talk about the custom hooks. How we can make any custom hook. I'll show that example. Plus, after that, Nginx and Jenkins. Then at least what is mentioned, the content is covered. Then I'll do one extra stuff for you. That's a payment as per your demand. Okay. Cool guys, so let's take a break now, and then after a break, yesterday though we even missed the break as well. Okay, let's take a break, and then after that, you guys can go for a dinner, and then we can connect. Calendar timer. Aneha, can you just stay for 1 or 2 minutes to discuss?
Yes, sure, Akash.
So I'll just run that. Guys, you can go for a break. Then we'll I'm discussing with Neha. हाँ नेहा बताइए please ma'am.
Yeah, what was your question, Akash? I was.
The reason for that feedback, ma'am.
Okay. So,
You just mentioned nothing. You give an average and then you write nothing. So didn't get it. Because our rule is that, ma'am, basically whatever if anybody gives, because you are the only one who have given the average. So I just want to understand the reason for
you know,
that.
actually my problem is somehow I'm not able. I mean, I'm not feeling comfortable while talking to you. Actually, it seems like, I mean, I don't know. I was tried sometime, but um, I'm not seeing any connection. At least, matlab, as a tutor, I'm not feeling comfortable while I tried 2-3 times, but the way you are answering and the way you are, you know, approaching, I was not very much comfortable actually.
Okay, but
So
ma'am,
that
just
time,
answer the question. Whenever you have asked a question, I've always answered your question.
no, I mean, you
Not
answered
answer
my
the question.
question.
Not about you. Anyone who asks a question, I answer the question. Now, obviously, ma'am, I'm not sure what kind of connection looking for, but obviously I try to answer everyone's question, whoever asks. And
No, I mean,
I give enough amount of time for everyone to ask a question also. I never rush while answering.
I don't know, but I was not really comfortable actually. That was overall my feedback. Because see, as a student, if you're not comfortable with your teacher, so you cannot actually gain much from them, even though he's so much talented or whatever. But you are not able to getting anything because you are not comfortable, right? So that's the
But
point.
that's a little bit mindset from there, na? Because that's what you feel, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's what this is only my rating, right? I'm not say other
fine,
than
no
that.
problem. I got my answer. Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you.
Okay, so just before the break, we have covered the context APIs. Now the next concept which I have to pick is custom hooks. Okay. Aditya, just to add, for keeping a contact, anyways, LinkedIn is there. You can connect there, although, but just to mention one more thing, even though you are not willing to connect, but you still have to connect, buddy. As I mentioned, if you're applying for any company in India, which are big MNCs, anyway, the fair chance that 90% chance that resume will come to my company only first. So you want or you don't want. Ultimately, the route for those companies are through our company only, buddy. But yeah, you can search me on LinkedIn, just joke apart. Okay. So what is custom hooks, guys? Let's talk about that. So I make a file called custom hook. You can even name to that. Custom hook, guys. What is a custom hook? Nothing. You can take it away. It is nothing more than just one say function. You're writing it separately and reusing it. Bas, ye hai custom hook. What the custom hook is? It's nothing more than simple JavaScript function. You're keeping it separately and using it everywhere. One example. Suppose I want the API calling only one place, reuse it every place. I can make my own custom hook. What that custom hook do? That call the API and return the data. Now, wherever I want a data, I'll just call that custom hook. That's it. So very simple example I'll give you guys. I'll import React from React. With a function use title. My custom hook name is use title. Okay. Make sure you start with a keyword called use. That's only requirement. Guys, it's calling on method called use effect and just making a new title for us. Okay. So use effect. Let's use effect. I'll give one. What does use effect, this particular hook do? Guys, this given title, whoever will call this hook, they get one title there. Okay, with appended text. So it's a document.title is equal to record $record. Basically, guys, my requirement is that, as you know, React have one page. Okay. My requirement is that, guys, every page have their own title. I wanted a code in such a way that whenever I'm going to jumping in a page, to each page, I can set my title. Okay. For each page, I want to set a title individually. How? So here I call this state call record. Okay. I'll say export default. Use title. Okay. So my this hook name is title. Okay. This is doing nothing, just setting a title of a page. Okay. Now guys, how we can use this? Your title, basically this particular component. Routing add करना पड़ेगा। ठीक है, चलो मैं दिखाता हूँ आपको what we can do. I'll make one component, say page 1. So import React. Use state. Then that's coming from React. But the hook you have created is not a part of a React, right? You have to import normally like this way. Arey kuch nahi guys, it is just a simple. It is nothing more than a simple one function, keeping it separate, reusing it. That's it. There's a fancy name to that. Okay. So I have one function, say page 1. I'll say record. We'll say use state. Okay. Now, so what we'll do, guys, to the use title, what we have to pass? We have to pass one data that is called record. Okay. So to the state, I'll pass one thing called record. Now what I'll do in the return, I'll say div. Now we'll say one button. On click of that button, I'll say set record. So record plus 1. Now I'll say record colon record. Okay. And at the end, export default page 1. Page 1. Now it's a and use state. Spellings are correct na? Okay. Okay, let's just try, guys. Now what I'll do, guys, is page 1 which I have created. Now, although what I can do is, guys, I can ideally to call one routing, and with the help of routing, I can directly display them. Or just to show you, we can import this page 1. And display. And we'll try to bind it. That's it. जरा तो मैं fix करना पड़ेगा, but we'll see. वो कुछ बोल रहा है मुझे. We have to. 1 second. Although we are calling with the. Although you don't have to put them in the curly braces, but it's saying something. So first of all, this is not a curly bracket, but saying some syntax we have to follow now. It's saying that column page 1 must start with upper letter. Okay. Okay. Fine. This is done. And say but that is the fine. Use state should not give us any trouble. Okay, got it. So basically in the use state, if we write like this, let's think something. I think should be good, but so that look fine, na? What is the spelling mistake there? 1 second. This is something as a coding. This is gonna happen. Nothing you can control over this. So these kind of a problems to keep coming, and we don't have to give up. Okay, this is done. Now what next? Nothing. Just try to fix it. See what exactly done. Because guys, as I mentioned, every day versions are changing, right? When a version change, the content change, and then the content change automatically gives us a trouble. But okay, so for just the sake of this, now I'll just do one thing here. In my hooks component itself, rather than calling up page 1, I'll do one thing. Okay, first thing is this, and I'll define the state there. So now we'll see what it will say. We'll find this. Okay, let's delete this, is not required. Just make sure you import that. Use title. Not required. Import. Use title. And to use title, pass a record. Now we'll see. Look good. Okay. Page 1 is anyways not there, so get rid of that page 1 code. Page 1 is no longer exist, so no more page 1. Okay, just try to restart the application. No, it's not compulsory. Page 1 need to be uppercase. That's not compulsory. Something else, I'm not sure. It's something. So record is not defined in the call use state also here. Guys, this is something while you're writing a code, now you understand that what changes require, and this will keep happening. Okay, so no need to worry much about it. Because version change, when we are installing a latest one, the latest one obviously it will break. So ये चलता रहेगा. Okay. Now basically we are displaying it. Use record 0. Now basically the major thing to understand here is, now see guys, my title of the page is here record 0. That's what. And ultimately it is also possible, guys, I make a page 2. Here suppose I say home page. Now the title of the page become home page. Now suppose I have second page number 2 in a routing. From there I'll pass the value of that page to something else. Is setting up my page number basically. Okay. Suppose from page number 2, I'm going to pass a data by record some other value to that. So that value will be updated. In a page number 2, I'll pass a home page, an about page, and contact page. So I just use a hooks called title, one function called title. What does function do? This function is just updating a title of my page. That's it. Nothing more than that. If I don't use this hook, then the title of my page is just React app. Which title? The default title. Where is it coming from? It's coming from here, React app. So custom hook is nothing, guys, just one more JavaScript function. You're writing it separately, and then you can use this function anywhere. It's just like that. Nothing more than this, guys. You treat in a way you're writing only logic. You want to reuse that logic. You make a separate code for that, and anywhere required, you can use that logic. Guys, anyone, any question, any doubt in this? Keep the time on our pass. Okay. Anyone, any question, any doubt in this? They're good? Okay.
I have a question, Akash.
Someone saying something? Jody, your voice is very low. Please just be louder.
Oh, is this better?
How this is better? Nothing to better. You just think that suppose I have one logic which I want to reuse at multiple places. So what I'll do is I write the same logic in one file. Now from that file, I can use that logic anywhere. Suppose I want calculation. As a very example, you have one complex calculation. Okay. A multiple component require that kind of calculation. So what you'll do? You have a separate function of JavaScript. Wherever that calculation logic required, just call that component, pass the data, in return you get the output of that.
Okay. So with the record, why doesn't the record name, it says 0, but when you click the button, it
Because
doesn't change to like 1, 2, and 3.
as of now, we're not passing any data to that particular component. We're trying to more logic that we can pass the data from this component to that component. We're not passing any data there. We're just trying to do call that whichever component call, like say record 0, this space record 0. On page number 2 is record 1. When you go to page number 2, you should record 1 there. Like that.
Okay.
We're not writing any logic to pass a data to the component. That's what. If there is some logic there, okay, now this will receive a data on the basis of that you paid the record. That's also possible. I can some more logic of JavaScript. From here, I'll pass the data, and when I just click on that button, I'm trying to update that. In a title, the value will keep updating. That's also possible.
Okay.
It's all about logic. What logic you write? I'm just showing an example at what the component look like, how the custom hook look like.
All right. Thank you.
Now, guys, basically one more concept, again, not a part of a course, Jenkins. What does Jenkins do? Guys, basically Jenkins is like a pipeline that people use. For what purpose? For deploying the code. Normally what we did, guys, till now when we learn the deployment, in that particular deployment process, what we have done, guys, basically we are putting a build and the build is running somewhere. Okay. Now I'll show one example. In this piece of example, I'm not going to take any build. I'll take a raw code as a developer. Suppose I do a development. That's it. I'm not making a build every time. I'll take a raw code without node module folder. I'll only push the raw code to Git. With the help of Jenkins, we'll make a build of that raw code. And wherever I want to deploy, I will deploy. So what I'm doing is, guys, I'm using one server called Nginx. Nginx is something. So basically, Nginx is one thing, guys, like a server over which, with the help of which people deploy their code. Okay. You can say Nginx is just one server on which I can run the application. You can install the Nginx on laptop. If you want a more detail of Nginx, yes, I have a video on my channel. You can refer that also if you want. But for us, I'll tell you what exactly we're trying to do. Here, guys, I'm going to show you. I'm installed for the Jenkins do, guys. Basically, Jenkins work in the way. Jenkins is a one server and it tried to pick the code from a particular location. That particular location, my laptop is this www folder. What I do, whatever code I will create, okay, the build of that code will be put here automatically by Jenkins. What does Jenkins do? Jenkins will make a build of my code and place in this particular location. Okay. Put that code and place in this particular location. Now, basically what happened? What the Nginx do then? Guys, Nginx is basically a server which have one configuration. And with that particular configuration, what it tried to do, it tried to basically automatically pick that code from that location. I'll show you. So Nginx have one configuration file. This is called nginx.conf. Okay, I'll show that what it contains. Basically, guys, it contains the configuration. What does configuration do? This configuration, guys, whatever the build that I have created, it automatically pick that build from the particular location and run over it. So it's a complete automated process. Jenkins will put the build at the particular location. Nginx will pick that build from that location and run. Whenever you make any change in the code, only thing you have to do is start the pipeline and restart the server. The code will automatically be deployed. I'm not sure, guys, how much of this work will come under bucket, but this is a good knowledge that you must have. So basically in the nginx.conf file, just for your reference, I'm writing it. You will write a server, tell that on which port number it should run, what is the name of the application, from where to pick that code. Okay, this is what all we specify here. But ideally, guys, for Jenkins, you have to make one file called Jenkins file. How it work, I'll tell you. But first of all, guys, anyone not clear with the logics, what exactly you're trying to achieve, that part is not clear. First, take it out of that. Then I'll tell you how we have a Jenkins file. So we have a Jenkins file here. That Jenkins file will push, and with the help of that, it automatically create the pipeline and run for us. Anyone, first of all, not clear with this Jenkins, this what we're trying to achieve right now? Clear? Okay. Now, what I'll do is, guys, I'll make one file called Jenkins files. Here you specify stages, that what all stages your code should go. We let a call pipeline. Pipeline. In that agent, we say N. There's no specific agent we want here. What are tools you require for this pipeline? I require a tool called Node.js. The tool name is Node.js that I require for a pipeline. Then the stages, what all stages we have. Here, guys, are multiple stages. First stage is basically install. The first stage is install. What step it have to do in this install, guys? The step that it have to perform is sh npm install. In the install stage, it will install that. Second stage will be build. A command called npm run build. Now see, you don't have to build it manually. Pipeline will do that for you. And the third stage is deploy. Now, where you want to deploy your code, I'll say. First of all, it look for one folder there called any existing folder we can override. Say React app, okay? This React app folder already has something there, build folder there. I want it to delete the old build and put a new build there. So I say rm-rf. We'll say in this location, user / local / where / www / react app / build. Okay. Even if I can change the name of that also. I can change the name of that to React January, just for your understanding. Okay. I'll say whatever code is already there, just remove that. Then copy the new build from where? Basically, guys, Jenkins have its temporary folder. Okay. Jenkins have its temporary folder. We'll say from this that temporary folder, copy the code here. The temporary folder location is user Akash dot Jenkins / workspace / whatever name we'll give, guys, that name only it will take. Whatever the pipeline name, whatever the name of pipeline, by that name it get a temporary folder. My pipeline name suppose say React Gen Edu. That's my pipeline name, build. It picked that build from here and copy in this location. So this is your Jenkins file that you require. Now what I'll do, I'll copy this Jenkins file and put there because I want to push to Git And from there, I want to try this code. So this Jenkins file, I'll put it here. Okay. Now from here, guys, let's push the code to Git so that we can try this code. cd react push git add commit push. As I push that Jenkins file also there now. Okay. Now what I'll do is, what's the repo name where the Jenkins file got pushed? Let's go back and check the repo name also. So Jenkins file is at this location, right? Okay. Now go to your Jenkins dashboard. Your pipeline name should be React January AD only. Okay. Now, so how we create a new pipeline? Click on new item. Guys, might be possible, guys, to never do this thing in a company, but your knowledge is very important. So pipeline name is React Gen Edu. What do you want to create? Pipeline. Then here, guys, we have to create a pipeline with SCM, source code manager. Now, which source code manager? Git. Then it asks a path of that Git. So repository, this is a URL of that repo. Let's refresh once. Oh, I think. Oh, yesterday I was showing some. I was in a different branch yesterday. Remember, we're doing a branching. So code got pushed to different branch. Now it have a conflict. Oh yeah, shit. Although look fine as a homepage branch. So let's do a deployment from homepage branch. Yeah, how does it matter to us? From homepage branch, I'll do a deployment. Okay. So first the repo URL is this. From there, the branch I like to pick is homepage. Okay. Now, in that branch, the file name is Jenkins file. Make sure uppercase, lowercase matches Jenkins file. Okay. Now save and apply. Now, guys, what it do? It create a one pipeline for there. Now you can click on build now. When you click on build now, this pipeline will start, and then this pipeline will build the code and copy the code. First, run all the step one by one. After building the code, now it's a problem with most probably the branching. Look to me more or less. You want console. Okay, it's saying that the problem is a keyword any. Okay, just again do that. Actually, yesterday I was on different branch. That's all this problem happened. But fine, no problem. We're good to do. Let's trigger this pipeline once again. So as all the stages perform, it put the code there and then you can start the Jenkins. Still there's some issue. The error Jenkins files only. First, we have to say here stages. And then stage. Okay, let's trigger the build once again. When the build start, then we are done. That's what I want to show you, that how exactly trigger the build. Let's see. Now it's first reading that git. It will run that step called install. Then after that, a build, then putting the build there, and Nginx will pick it and run it. So this is, guys, what the Jenkins is. As I mentioned, guys, it's possible that you never do this thing, but having a Jenkins knowledge is always a plus to your career. Because there's a lot of developers who have they don't know anything beyond the React, but these things are all beyond the React that you will be good with. Anyone, any question in this? Okay. So guys, by this way, finally, as per the requirement of the content, we are able to wrap all. I mean, a lot of extra topic also. But as per the request of people, I want to cover one more extra topic, that's a payment gateway, which is way too simple to integrate. But ultimately, guys, to integrate a payment gateway, what you require? I require application, which I'm going to pick right now. Second thing, I can show a different place of the different location, that same application, the code of that. And I can explain from there. So basically, guys, payment gate is nothing. It's just the one URL you are trying to hit. Okay. Is nothing more than a URL trying to hit. Guys, now I'll delete this all stuff. I'll delete this now React push because that's already done. Your batch is done. So I'll just close it in there. Now, for me, guys, a payment gateway, I have created my own payment gateway using Paytm. Okay. I cannot give a code of that payment gateway, guys, because that contains my secrets also. But I can show you how we can integrate it. Okay. For that, okay. Allow me like a 1 minute. First, let's say working of that payment gateway. Okay. Then I'll explain you how I integrated that. Basically, guys, I have one code of this payment gateway. Okay. That's running on a port number localhost 4100. The backend code is written for that. Running on a port number 4100. It's a one route called /paynow. It have one URL called /paynow. What does this payment gateway expect from me? Guys, this payment gateway expect from me to basically pass some particular parameter to that. Okay, this payment gateway, guys, if you want to get a code of this payment gateway, get it. How? You can go to Paytm, GitHub of the Paytm, and say payment gateway code for GitHub or payment gateway code for Paytm. You get a code from there also, but that's work you have to do. First, let's see working of that. First of all, you can log in. I'll give a right email ID, right password. Click on lunch, cafe wink, add some item. Proceed. Now when I click on checkout, guys, you see it's go to /paynow. And from Paynow by default redirect me to a payment gateway. Now I click on net banking. I click on any particular bank I can choose. Suppose I choose here Canara Bank. I click on pay. When I click on pay, it asks me what you want to test, success or failure. I want to test success. When I click on success, it will come back to my website with certain information, and that I'll update it in my database. What it returned me? It returned me the order ID, MID, transaction ID, then amount, payment mode, net banking, currency INR, transaction date, transaction success, which bank name, bank ID, complete bank name. Okay, so it gives me some information in return, guys. Okay. So there is one URL, and you see, guys, the whole application got deployed as well. So here I have one particular URL of this payment gateway. Now, how I have integrated that, I'll show you. It's very simple. See, as a front-end developer, integrating a payment gateway is not a big job. How? I'll show the code of that. I just have to call a URL, the URL which I have for a payment gateway. Now, I have just called that URL. Okay. When I basically call that URL, it go to that URL with certain information in the post API. Where it is, I'll show you that. Desktop webinar. Folder name is webinar. Yeah, webinar. Webinar. And guys, you want this app which have already integrated the payment gateway, and all the payment will not work for you. Login, logout integration, all those things. If you want, I have one application I can give you today, which is I ask you to try combining the login, logout with the Zomato. I'm not sure how many of you did that, but if you want already a combined application, I can give to you. Okay, I'll give you that. Not a big deal. So how in your payment gateway, guys, on the place order page, place booking, I have just one thing in my form. In my form, basically, I have just given this URL. Now this URL is not working anymore because Heroku is stopped. So I'm just giving this URL and the method is post. And from here, I'm sending a data in a hidden format. I'm sending a cost, ID, hotel name, plus name of the user, email, phone, address. Is all thing I'm passing to this URL. And rest, the URL is doing a job for me. Yes, REST URL is navigating to payment gateway. After payment done, it come back to my view page. In the view page, from the URL, I am receiving a data, and from that data, I am updating that data. That's what I'm doing. So payment gateway is not a big deal, guys. You just have to read that payment gateway thing. So normally for React people, they just have to call this URL and pass the data. That's it. Rest all thing happening in the backend. I'll give this application also to you guys, already integrated payment gateway there. Login logger also combined there. Anyone, any question, any doubt? Okay. Now, before jumping to any other thing, first of all, guys, as per your requirement, you think, sir, this is you told that you will do. You have not done that. Anyone have anything in the mind, first of all? Because your satisfaction is more important, guys. Although I've tried my best 100% to give every possible thing which I can. But still, if anybody have any mind in a mind that, no, sir, you told this thing, you will do that, but not done that. Anything, anytime like this, because then I'll come to some additional things which is very useful for you. So, code with. What I'm doing is, guys, I'm giving you this code basically. This code have all the thing, and login, logout also integrated here. If you want to try it, you can try. Okay. Now, guys, few important things which I want to give you before closing note of this batch. First is I want to share all the interview questions with you guys. And guys, the best part is this, the one link which I'm sharing you is keep updating. So best part is you always get the latest questions all the time. Okay, first is that. Okay, first thing is that interview question. Second thing is, guys, I like to the process of the interviews these days, what's happening. Basically, what's happening in India, and specifically in India and US, both the places, there are multiple companies are there, guys, okay, which has already start taking a first round of your interview. Okay, first round of interview is basically taken by these companies. Now, I have a tie-up with these companies. Basically, what we do is, as example, if I talk about today, right now, tomorrow I have an interview for Global Logic, because I don't have much time to take a lot of interviews, but my team take a lot of interviews, guys, for everyone. Like as example, guys, you take a name of a company, I'll show that. It's global. Right now, the Global Logic is in a place. TCS, Tech Mahindra, Infosys, Deloitte. Likewise, guys, in whichever bigger company will apply. Basically, what they do is a resume will come to us, guys. Okay. Even some startups also start doing this process. So basically, we get this resumes, guys. Now, what happened, guys, like Collabra and all, lot of companies, guys. Okay. So basically what happened after that, guys, we'll take a first like Tech Mahindra and lot more company name I can show you here. Okay. So basically, guys, we'll take a first round of an interview. Now I'll tell you guys what to prepare, how to prepare for an interview these days. Those days are gone, guys, where somebody asks a definition of React. Okay, say, all right, tell me the definition of React. Nobody gonna ask you this thing, guys. These days, guys, basically for all these big companies, there will be a 30 minutes round, 30 minutes first round. Okay. And that's a deciding round anyways. Because if you're not able to crack that 30 minutes first round, okay, then in that case, guys, you're not anyways going, your resume will not even go to the company. As simple as that. And you're blacklisted for means of you're out of that company for at least next 6 months, right? So basically, guys, these days, the more focus is your implementation, your logics, how confident you are. So in the 30 minutes interview, me or my team is just taking these days. Basically, we just check on multiple things. If it's an interviews for a React, we not just check a React. We'll check your React, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. At least minimum these 4 technologies we'll check. On base of each technology, we'll rate you. On the base of our rating, company will decide that you are going for next round or not going for next round. Now, my recommendation is that, guys, whatever I have covered till now, not for the guys possible, guys, it might be possible you're applying for a company which is not under our panel. I'm not saying, okay, 100% is like, okay, then no possibilities there. Might be. There are a lot of companies in India, in the world here. So might be, guys, you're not coming in my panel. Then in that case also, guys, I can tell you one thing. The content which I've covered in a React in past 5 weeks, I can commit you and I can give in a writing also, guys, this thing. If you have done this thing properly, if you have done my content properly, na guys, I can give you this thing in writing also. Nobody can fail you in any interview. We have covered that much amount of content from the 0 to the advanced level. You just understand one point. Nobody can reject. I'm not taking any value for the JavaScript. I'm not sure how much you're good with, but for React, I can commit one thing with a bang on that nobody can reject you. So I recommend one thing, guys. Stop watching any YouTube or anything. Just go back to the course, watch this course again, try every single thing. You're not clear with that. I recommend to collect all the question at one go, raise a support ticket and say, okay, this is, I'm not clear with, I want one session with a trainer. It can be me or it can be any trainer. You can have one session with a trainer and the trainer will tell you all the answer of the question that you are struggling with. So guys, I recommend everyone, obviously understand, guys, during a session, you not get a time to revise or so. But I recommend now again restart this course in a way that you will watch every single video properly. And then after that, trying it, then leave the React. It is taken care. Everything is taken care here, guys. Next thing, if it coming to a point of sending a resume to me, I can share my email ID where those once you're ready for that interview, just send me there, because as I mentioned, guys, you're tied up with all the companies. We just arrange a first round of your interviews for that. I cannot commit anyone a job. I'm not committing anyone a job. I am just helping you guys what I can do best from my side. Okay, you can only drop a resume, guys. The rest, any query you drop, I might not able to answer that query. For any other query, ask a support team. For resume, yes, the email ID is in a chat. You can drop that email, and over that email ID, drop your resume. I'll forward to my panel, whichever company have a requirement, they schedule an interview for that company to you whenever you are ready for that. What else? What else? Okay. The code which we have now, guys, I'm pushing this code, final, by the name of final. Plus one more thing I'll tell you guys, this code is never going to delete in future also. In the future, anytime you need the code, you come back to my repo and your code is always there. And how to keep upgrading yourself. As a more example, I'll tell you. Like, guys, right now your repository name is 23. Okay. After next year, suppose you want to revise yourself, you want to upgrade yourself free of cost. You just search here 24. When you search here 24, like as example, I search here 22. I'll get all the batch of the 22, right? Similarly in 21, similarly in 20, similarly in 19, every year you'll find a batch. I just ending by name of 21, 22 like this. Now next year you want to upgrade yourself, that too free of cost. Just come in my repo, search here 24. When you search here 24, you find a repository for a next year, 24 year. 2024. And then you can open it, you can download it. And obviously, guys, every year, not like that drastically everything got changed, nothing like that. You'll find few things new that ultimately you can try and understand it. So if you want to see, guys, day-wise code of the total 10 session, you click here. Now, when I click here, day-wise, the code is also available, guys. See what you've done on what day, that is also available to you. You click on this icon, now you get a code of that particular day only, guys. Like that also possible. So the best part here is that in my repo, that even you can upgrade yourself every year, and that too free of cost now. Okay. Fine. So guys, again, I can share last time the repo link. And first of all, thank you guys for joining and being patient and keep listening to me. And I'm not sure how much you enjoyed or not enjoyed, but I tried my best that you guys should enjoy the class. And yeah, that's how I am done from my side. Yes, now if anybody have anything to ask, you're most welcome to ask. If there's nothing to ask, then we are good to, you can leave the session also if you want. And yes, all the best, guys. Hope to see you soon, somewhere very near future. Okay, till that, thank you. Final project, Jody, that will come under your bucket, ma'am. Basically, what you can do is you can start reading that. If you have any problem in that final project, obviously you can raise a ticket. They are the one who will help you out. Suppose your API is not working, your application is not working, anything you need help, they can help you out. Thank you, Rajan. Thank you, Kash, very much. That session was very intuitive. Thank you, buddy. It was a very nice class. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Akash, I'm interested to join a Node.js batch. Also, let me know when you're planning. But I don't plan the batch. Basically, just a support ticket, mentioning that you are looking for the new batch. And yeah, and guys, at the very last day, I expect the same thing as a feedback. Please, everyone should feel the feedback. And thanks for that. You are the best instructor. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for that. Yes, Akash, बोलिए.
सर वो मैं बोल रहा था कि उसमें जो भी मतलब जो यूआरएल जो दिए हैं मतलब AWS के सर्वर में आपके एक्सेस करने के लिए वो कब बंद तो हो जाएंगे क्या?
और अभी तक तो एटलीस्ट फॉर 1 year तो we cannot say anything. At least this is running. है ना? And as I mentioned, buddy, very simple answer I've given. Next year, if something is not working, look for 24, go to extra file, you find a new URL there.
जी 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 ठीक है
सर इससे बेस्ट तो
Thank
कुछ
you
नहीं
very
होता ना. आप हर साल अपने आप को फ्री में अपग्रेड कर सकते हो अब.
जी जी जी
है ना?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the session.
Thank you, sir, for lovely experience. Thank you, guys. Thanks very much. Thanks a lot. And yes, please make sure, guys, that's the only thank you I want to fill a feedback. Cool, guys. Thanks a lot. And yeah, all the best. Bye-bye. Take care.